Hey folks, Ross with HikeWadePaddle, and today I'm going to be throwing a little tutorial together of how to tie my favorite foam cricket pattern for big spring and summer bluegills. Great pattern to throw on it's a bit big to throw on anything much smaller than a 3-weight, but on the 3 and 4-weight it's a blast. So I've got a bodkin in my vise. I've got 2 strips of 2mm craft foam cut to about the little over the size of the hook gap that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to tie those on the bodkin and tie an extended body. So I'm just going to lay down a very, very tiny, or short rather, thread base here on the bodkin. And I'm going to get these strips tied in. Alright, so here at the tail end, I'm going to tie in 2 rubber legs, if I can find them. Such a mess here at the tying desk, and it's been a couple years since I tied, so I don't know where everything is right now. But hopefully I'll get back in the swing of things and have some cool patterns for the channel. Alright, so I'm going to take some small rubber legs. I'm going to tie those in on either side. The fly can do that better. I'm going to tie those on top with 2 loose wraps, then pull them down to the side to get them into place. They can sometimes have a mind of their own. So I'm going to start advancing the thread forward on the bodkin. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the excess of those legs. And I'm going to fold the foam forward and tie it down, one section at a time here. And that's going to be the first body section of this extended body foam cricket. I'm going to advance my thread up the bodkin. And this doesn't have to be done super neat. The fly is going to be durable. I'm going to tie the foam down. And form a second body section. And I want this fly to be pretty compact. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in a half hitch there. Slide it off the bodkin. And there you have it. All right. I'm going to be tying this on a TMC 2302, which is a great hook for stoneflies, hoppers, the big rubber leg nymphs. I'm going to lay down a smooth thread base back to the hook point. And that's where I'm going to tie down my body. And I'm going to start at that last section right there where I did the half hitch and finished it. Get it centered on the hook. And I'm going to advance the thread up to about the quarter-way point of the hook shank. Got some excess thread there from where I slid it off the bodkin, and I'm going to tie that body section down. Or tie the underside of that body section down, I should say. And trim off the excess foam just behind the eye. I'm going to come in and add some peacock black ice dub. Get a pretty thick body of that going here. And I'm going to dub over the foam I tied down. All the way up to that quarter point. You just kind of have to add this dubbing sparingly, or else it's going to be too thick in one spot. And then you're going to come back maybe slightly behind that quarter-way point and tie down that top piece of foam. All right, so then what you're going to want to do, and this is kind of awkward to do, but you're going to fold that top piece of foam over the hook point. That didn't come out super clean. One of the easier way to do it is to make once you figure out where that point is going to come through, just come in with your tying scissors and make a small hole. And you're going to tie your foam down right there. All right, now is when this fly really starts to take its buggy shape. I'm going to tie in a nice wing out of brown emerger yarn. Just going to fold that over my thread. Tie that down right on that, right behind that head section. I'm going to trim that off slightly longer than the body of the fly. And it's going to be a mess, but you're going to get that cleaned up here in just a minute, and I'll show you how. I'm going to tie in a indicator using a marsh hopper indicator cutter, and that's just going to be, it can really be any color you want, but I like yellow because I can see it. The perks of being colorblind. And I'm going to tie that on right there on top of the wing. And that's just going to give me something to see better. Going to contrast with the water surface and the fly itself. All right, so we're starting to get pretty buggy here. Then I'm going to come in with a couple more rubber legs, tie them on top of that indicator with a couple loose wraps. And then pull them down into place on either side of the fly. All right, you could go ahead and whip finish here and you'd have a very fishable fly. But I like to go ahead and add another noodle of that same ice dub that I use on the body section. And then I'll go ahead and whip finish on top of that. And then from there, it's just a matter of time, or clipping, trimming. There's the word I'm looking for. Your legs to whatever desired length you want. I don't like super long legs on my flies. I personally feel it gives the fish something else to bite that's not the fly itself, and that's a really awkward way of explaining it. To me, it gives the fish something else to bite that isn't necessarily, oh come on, camera focus, focusing on the body of that fly. But yeah, super fun pattern to tie. Looks a little intimidating at first, but pretty simple. And it is a excellent summer and spring bluegill terrestrial. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Really appreciate you watching. We'll have more for you soon.